Hi everyone, I'm here to show you a few important things. Number one is with attendance. So let's say, for example, that you did not wake up when your alarm clock went off this morning and you missed your science class this morning. It happens, and we don't want to make a habit of it. But if it does happen and you have to miss a class for some reason, you have until the end of the day, so until 11:59 p.m., the end of the day, to make up the attendance for that day. So there are different ways that you can make up this attendance. What you can do is you can watch the recording. You could complete an assignment in D2L for the class. Or in some cases, like in science, you could work on your unit project, a science experiment, or like in English, you could do some independent reading. So each of your classes might have a little bit different options on how you can make up that attendance if you do accidentally, occasionally miss class. And the way you would make that up is you would do whatever it is you're going to do to make up attendance, whether that's watch the recording, reading a book, doing a science experiment, or working in the D2L modules. When you are done with whatever you are doing to count for attendance, you will go to your game plan. So every game plan will have this attendance makeup link down at the bottom or in the notes. And this is for all four of your main classes, your English, history, math, and science. So you will click on attendance makeup and you will complete a short 2-question survey. Number one, what did you do to make up this attendance? Choose all that apply. So let's say that I watched the recording and I did a D2L assignment. Maybe when I watched the recording, the teacher told me to go do an exit ticket. So I did two things. Or maybe I watched the recording and did a science experiment or worked on my unit project for science. If you were in English, this may say independent reading. Or if you're in math, it could say completed 30 minutes of Khan Academy. It could be different for every course, so you will choose all that apply for however you made up this attendance. You will then go to question number two. Question number two is describe 3 things that you learned with enough detail to provide that you, enough detail to prove that you participated today. So you can't just list, oh, we learned about atoms. Atoms are everywhere. You're going to have to be more specific than that. What are 3 things with detail that you learned? You were trying to prove that you actually watched the recording or did something for science or completed some D2L work. So here is where you're proving to us you actually did something to earn that credit for attendance. Once you finish that, you will press Submit Survey. And then tomorrow, the next day, I will go and look who submitted the survey, and I will update your attendance in Skyward for that day that you missed the Live Class Connect. Now remember, don't take advantage of this. This is there for those sudden, unexpected emergencies where you have to miss class, but you don't have a doctor's note and you would like to make it up without counting against you. Another way to make up attendance, say that you did have a doctor's appointment and you have a doctor's note. So let's say that you did have a doctor's appointment. You will go to the Welcome to 7th Grade Science page. This is the quickest way to get here. And this is where you would go to submit a doctor's note or a parent note to be unexcused. To have an unexcused switch to an excused absence. So in the case where you did not make it up that day, but instead you were actually absent. Now remember, in this Bitmoji classroom, you can click on different things. There are links to books, Quizlet, Khan Academy, Free Rice, different links to things. There's a link to Skyward in here. So if you forget the website for Skyward, there's a link to Skyward in here, as well as other things. There's a link attached to several of these images. One that you are interested in, if you have to submit a doctor's note, is this TNVA Tigers picture up in the top right. So you will click on that, and it will take you to our school website. So there's lots of very useful information here where you can learn about your teachers, your administrators, and your head of school, and also get tons of very useful information. So you can see over here we have information on COVID-19, elementary specific information, as well as family resources. There's a video that you can watch from our head of schools and other information that you can get. And there's a letter from our head of school, as well as links to the calendar for the school year. And you can also click on these links to meet other TNVA leadership team members. Here are several helpful links, including the attendance survey. So if you were out and you have a doctor's note or a parent note, you will click on attendance survey. You then will complete this attendance survey using your email address. This can be any email address that you want to use. Your student ID, and here is a link to find your student ID if you do not know it. And then more information that you can read and need to fill out. So if you missed more than one day, please note, please include multiple dates if more than one. So you can list what those dates are if you've missed several days with a doctor's note. There is how it is being excused, what subjects you missed, and then you will add your doctor's note where it says add file. You can click to send yourself a copy of what you fill out as well. I highly recommend you send yourself a copy so that you have that evidence that you have completed this. And then when you're done, you'll press submit, and you have submitted then for makeup attendance using a doctor's note, bereavement time, or a parent note. Another thing I wanted to point out in this Bitmoji classroom is the shout outs and suggestions. So on the left side over here is the shout outs and suggestions. You can click on that box, and it is a place for you to give shout outs to your peers or suggestions to your teacher. So here you can choose, is it a shout out or a suggestion? If you would like to say, hey, and then whatever the student's name is, you would like to recognize them for something awesome they've done. This is where you can do that. I will then email them or send them something to recognize them for being awesome. So this is a place to recognize your classmates. A suggestion, if you notice there is something I need to change or something you'd recommend, then you can leave a suggestion here. Notice these are anonymous. I do not know who is leaving the shout out or the suggestion. So feel free to fill out either one of those. So if you are doing the shout out, it says who is the student you want to recognize and what extraordinary thing have they done. If you are just leaving a suggestion, you will skip to the next question. So what suggestion do you have to improve this class? You will then press submit when you are done, and you can submit as many of these as you would like. And again, to get to these, they are found on that very first slide that I put up in the classroom on day 1. And you can click on the shout outs and suggestions box.